Good morning. How's everyone doing? Mic check. Hopefully everything's working properly. Today is Thursday, February the 6th. So at least coming to this morning, we have some red folder news, basically red folder news every single week. We also have Amazon earnings tonight. So that's kind of the major news event that's going to happen in the market later today. Most of the earnings really this season has been not the greatest. A bunch of kind of earnings beat and then kind of just drop with the overall kind of market, right? The volatility, just a headline news market. AMD had some nice earnings. That one ended up dropping. Google ended up dropping as well. And then a couple other earnings from last week, nice pops. I think it was on like Tesla and Apple. And then those ones like day one faded towards the downside. So we'll take a look at the charts here in a second. What's good, Kang Tone, Papa Stefano? Let's see, subscribe. Yeah, no, these ones are just pre-market prep. So if you guys are new, these ones are just pre-market preps. I go over everything that I'm looking for coming into market open. It's good, Dominic, Daniel, Super, Felipe. Enjoyed that video. Yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed that video yesterday. I think it's a pretty good video, especially when it comes to the break and retest. I know most of you guys probably trader or some variation of the break and retest. And yesterday's video, I talked about the different entry models. There's actually another different entry model that I didn't talk about, but those are the three main ones, at least when it comes to the classic break and retest. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that one. Good morning. What's up, Seamus, Wayne, Monty, Ashley, BGP? Great YouTube video from yesterday. Yeah, glad you enjoyed it. What's up, Neto, Patrick, Luis, Sidekick, Andreas, Bob, Andrique, Martin, Ilias, Manic, onto Brett, Alex, Edison, Vic, Carlos, Papa, onto Sam, Luke, Robert, Alex, Infinite, Joseph, Marcos, Rich. Yeah, good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing well. Let's get straight into the charts coming to market open. Let's first start off on ES and then we can go down the line, NQ and the rest of the tickers as well. So for the ES coming into today. So yesterday, this is the key levels. We had a couple key levels that we have drawn out. So really, if we look at the 1 hour time frame, gonna get rid of this level right here, where I have a few levels drawn out coming into this week, right? Our 60-60, and then this key area, which is our 60-20. So really, we've just been kind of bouncing from the bottom of the range coming towards the key level, right? This is just your previous levels from last week, couple rejections off this key area. And then finally, yesterday, we are able to get above this key area. And now you can see we're having that continuation really back inside kind of the upper of the range here on the ES. Right now we can drag this level over. So if I drag this level over, and this is the level from last week, as you can see right here, right? If you guys are curious to see how I draw the levels, they're just always old highs, old lows. You'll kind of get used to it. Most of the levels I already have drawn out just because they're old levels and I just drag them over and I don't really have to draw new levels. But these are the levels I have drawn out. Your 6100 now, just your previous kind of high, your gap level from last week. So if you go down onto the 15-minute time frame now, really these are the key levels that I'm going to have. It's just going to be your 6100, and then as you can see right here, which is your 6060. So really this is a level from yesterday. Once we got above this level, you can see you got above it, retested, continuation towards upside, really up towards that next level on the higher time frames, which is now your 6100. So coming into today, we have a few options on the ES, right? Number one, right, we break above, retest this 6100, and we can continue towards the upside, right? This is the best, at least for trending rise. If we get above this key area, we can use this as a retest for continuation higher. Let's say we reject off this level, we could potentially come all the way back down towards your 60-60, and then this would be your next kind of best buying opportunity, right? Higher low offers 60-60 for this continued pushback towards the upside on the overall market. So this is for the long side for the ES, right? If we reject off of your pre-market highs, what's going to happen is we're just going to reject off this area and we're going to come back down and fill this gap. So, right, if we reject off the pre-market high, show some weakness around this 6100 key area, right, show some weakness, stay heavy, create a lower high off this area, we're just going to come back down and fill the gap that we have, which is your really your previous day highs, which is your 6080. So we can mark out that gap level as well. Go into the regular trading hours, we can just mark this out, right? This gap, drag this over, which is your 6080. Now it's actually your 6088. and we can drag this. Right, so we're gonna have a very small gap coming into market open. So if price does reject off your pre-market highs, right, shows some weakness, we're just gonna see this push back down towards this gap fill, which is a fairly small gap fill coming into today. So these are just gonna be the key levels that we have marked out. We can now go on to SPY. Let's go on to the extended trading hours here. So the key levels that I have for SPY is your 600, right? Or 600 has been a very key level that we've been talking about for the past few weeks, right? We've been trading around the 600 level on SPY quite often. And then we have another level marked out, which was just your previous day high, multiple touches, which is your 602.30. And then we also have, now we can draw out a new level, which is basically the same thing as your ES, which is back here. You can see there's a touch back here. We have multiple touches and we can drag this all the way over. So this is going to be your 605. You can see a touch here, or another touch in the pre-market, a touch on this day. Basically, this is kind of where it closed at. And then it kind of just ran through on this day, but this is going to be your key level. We have multiple touches, which is your 605, which also kind of lines up with the ES this morning, and then also your 606 on SPY. So coming into today on the SPY, you can see this one fairly clear with the pre-market levels here. Yesterday, what happened was we ended up opening up right around the 600, and you can see all these lower wicks, right? All these lower wicks on the 15-minute time frame was basically defending this nice 600 level. So we ended up gravitating towards the upside once we got above your previous day highs, as you can see here, which is your 602. Nice retest off this level for the next push towards this higher time frame level, which is now your 605. So if I drag these levels over, this is on the SPY. Now, what we'll be looking for, at least for a long position, right? The best long position in this case is going to be all the way back down towards really your 602 and kind of your previous day highs, right? So far, we're going to have a little bit of a gap here coming into market open, right? It's going to be a little bit harder to long right in towards, at least right off the bat, right in towards this kind of 505 area. This is a higher time frame key level. So really what I like to see is it break above your pre-market highs. So it'd have to break above your pre-market highs, right? 606, and then show some strength if we're going to be looking for a longs, at least right off the bat, right? Because price is right around the 606, or the next best scenario, similar to the ES, is price would have to come all the way back down to really retest, right, your key level from yesterday, which is your 602. You can see there's a reaction here, and then this would be your Tuesday's highs as well. So this is really the best case, is if it came all the way back down towards 602, because we've been in a lot of internal liquidity, a lot of reversals in the markets. So if price comes all the way back down towards 602, we can be looking for the higher low off 602 for this continued pushback towards the upside. So if price right off the bat breaks above your 606, we'll be looking for the retest really of this general area for this continued push higher. If it rejects right off the bat, then we'll be looking for the longs off of your 602. Anything besides that, right? We really want to be trading around these key zones, right? Around like 602, around 605, right? If we place entries in the middle of the range in between these zones, it's going to make it a little bit more difficult because we're going to have to go into lower time frames, and we're really just going to be inside these ranges. So really 605, 606, higher time frame key area. We have your 602 and then all the way down towards your 599. So at least that was for the long side. Now let's form our short bias, right? If we ended up, let's say, rejecting right off the bat, really in this case, similar to the ES, right? Rejection off of your 606 would push this back down to just your gap fill, which would be down towards your 603. So if it shows some weakness where it pops right off the bat, lower high, we could be looking for this mini gap fill back towards the downside. And some of you guys might be questioning as well why I'm forming kind of both long and short biases, or at least not a bias, short thesis. The reason being is because right in this market, if you go into the daily time frame, you'll see I haven't been on the daily time frame in a while, is because we're really kind of inside this range, at least on the SPY and Qs. Really on the daily time frame, it hasn't given us too much information. If you look at the Qs, similar thing, it hasn't given us too much information really ever since like a month ago, right? December 18th, when we had that big FOMC day, we've just been stuck inside this range, as you can see right here, from this high to this low. So I've been on the lower time frame, and a lot of it has been internal liquidity. So a lot of rejections, a lot of bounces instead of continuation. So that's why, right, we're opening to playing both sides of the market on the SPY and the Q. So right? Don't have a huge bias coming to market open. Majority of your trades in this case should be just kind of nice scalp, right? It's a scalper's market. It's not a swinger's market. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm just going to keep reiterating that over and over again. So let's go on to Tesla. So yeah, Tesla ended up finally dropping towards the downside. Key levels that I had on this ticker was really your 388. So on the higher time frames, this was the higher time frame key level. I ended up changing it just a little bit, but higher time frames, 388 was the level we've had for about the past week now. So you can see multiple touches on Tesla. I talked about this. If it stays heavy underneath really this 388 level, right? It's going to gravitate down towards your 373 and potentially all the way towards this earnings low, which is all the way down towards this 366. So for Tesla, as you can see right here, you draw your earnings high, you draw your earnings low. You can see price ended up gravitating towards your earnings high, rejected off this level, took out the liquidity, also rejected your 414. Now it's gravitating towards the downside. So now next logical level towards the downside on Tesla is really this low, which is your your 373. You can drag this over. And really the next kind of level is all the way down towards this earnings low. So for Tesla, if it stays heavy today underneath this really 373, there's a potential opportunity that we gravitate down towards this earning low, which is all the way down towards your your 365. So we can drag this over. If we go back onto the 15-minute time frame now, right? If we're looking at this, right, this is your key low. So you can see right here, this is your Monday's low. And now you can see this also your previous day lows as well. So far in the pre-market, we're getting a little bit of a reaction. We're dropping underneath this key area today. So what we like to see is really the reaction that we have off this area. Let's see if now we're breaking underneath it. Let's see if we can use this as resistance for this continued pushback towards the downside. So the key levels that we're going to have marked out today, we can refine this even more if we'd like. But really the key level is just going to be this previous low all the way until here. So let me get rid of this. And you drag this over. So this is going to be your key level. Your 375, and then we also have another key level, which is down towards your 373. But for Tesla, what we'd like to see coming into today is the reaction that we have off your 375, which is essentially your Monday's low and then your previous day low. If we stay heavy, we can be looking for the pop and fade on this ticker. So what we like to see on Tesla, right after this mini gap down towards the downside, we like to see what's called the pop and fade, reject off of your previous day lows for this lower high, continue push towards the downside on Tesla, down towards your pre-market lows and potentially your 365 on this ticker. So coming to today, we'll be looking for the pop and fade on Tesla, right? Rejection off of your 375. If it shows some strength, right, then it's just going to come back inside the range. Right, let's say right off the bat within the first 5 minutes, gets back above, reclaims your previous day low, reclaims your Monday's lows as well. It's just going to come back inside the range, and then we're just the next logical level, if we broke back above your previous day lows, would be just back towards your 381. But based off of what the SPY is doing, based off what the Qs is doing, as you can see right here, right? Qs, right? Nice, pretty big day yesterday towards the upside, whereas Tesla really was the one that was showing relative weakness. So we'll see if that relative weakness continues, if it can reject and hold underneath your previous day lows. So that's going to be the key area that we're going to be looking out for today on Tesla. As for NVIDIA, super nice kind of bounced yesterday. We got above your previous day highs. We ended up trading this towards the upside. So nice relative strength name yesterday, right? Key levels that I have drawn out, right? Similar levels. I haven't really changed them. It was just your previous day high yesterday. As you can see right here, previous day high. And then we ended up using this as support for a continuation towards the upside. So fairly nice reaction right off your previous day highs. As you can see here, if I zoom in just a little bit, right? Previous resistance turning into support fairly nicely. We end up taking a trade on NVIDIA right off this key area. And then you can see continuation towards the upside. So now, right, key levels that you can have marked out. Similar thing to yesterday. Now you can mark out your previous day highs. So you can drag this over, right? Drag this over on NVIDIA. This is going to be your previous day high. What you like to see on this ticker now is we actually have room back towards really this key high, 128 and then 128.50. So for NVIDIA coming into today, right, we have a push potential area that it wants to gravitate towards, right? We have multiple touches around this general area, which is your 128. Let me actually remove this key area. So I'm gonna remove this and I'll drag this over. So for NVIDIA, key levels that we have is your 128, right? 128.50. one touch here, two touch, right? Multiple touches around this key area. What we'll be looking for on NVIDIA today is a push up and towards this general area, which is your 128.50. What I'd like to see, at least for a long position, is the retest off your previous day high for this position towards the upside, right? Similar to yesterday, I would like to see the retest of your previous day highs, right? When it gaps above, right, or when it pushes above your previous day high, you want to see the retest of your previous day high. This is your lowest risk adding opportunity. And then you'd be looking for the higher low for this continuation up towards your 128. So this is by far the best entry, which would be down towards your previous day high, right? There's a good chance right off the bat with the relative strength it has currently, there's probably a good chance that ends up just gravitating higher. So if it gravitates higher, then it'll be like an intraday setup, and then we'll look for something different. But if it pulls back first, down in towards our previous day high, then we can be looking for the buying opportunity off this key area. If it pushes higher right off the bat, then we'll kind of reevaluate our plan and come up with something else. But right, this is our key level of resistance up and towards that 128. So you want to be careful, at least if you're going to look for a position right off the bat. That's why we have to have that dip down in towards your 125. Amazon. So Amazon, higher time frames, key level. Really, this one has earnings today. So this one has earnings after hours. It's Thursday. So what we want to do, right, as you can see right here, we're just inside this range. So we're inside this range on Amazon. Now we're just waiting for that earnings to play out. Implied volatility, I'm not exactly sure what the implied volatility on this earnings move is, but we're going to have a big move one way or the other. Just due to the fact that we've kind of been consolidating here around this all-time highs level. We'll see what shapes up. So far, it is still holding key areas, but anything can happen, just like Google. Google is at all-time highs and then end up having a 7% drop. So for Amazon, just be patient. We'll look for a potential after earnings play tomorrow. So we'll just be patient on this name and just wait to see what shapes up. So for Apple, higher time frames, key levels that we have marked out in this case is your 232, and then I have your 225 as well. So you can see these are just old levels that we have drawn out right towards the downside, 225. As you can see, multiple bounces, and then we have another key level, which is your 232, which we're at currently. So if we go into the 15-minute time frame right here on Apple, these are the key levels I have marked out. You can even mark out these levels really on the higher time frames. You have kind of these lows. I kind of like this level a little bit better, just due to the fact that we have multiple touches. This also kind of coincides with your earnings low. So in this case, you can always look to refine your levels if there's a better level that seems fit. So you can see these tapped into your earnings low, and they have kind of multiple touches here as well. So I just kind of refine my level to this being that like 233. Which makes sense. At least we have more information now. And then you can see it's respecting a little bit better this week. So I'm just going to change that and put that towards that 233. So in this case, coming into today on Apple, really these are just your levels that you have marked out, right? Your 230, your 226, and then you have your 232. So for Apple, you can see a lot of range this week, just kind of bouncing off the highs and the lows. So for this ticker, similar thing, right? If it just rejects once again, it's just going to continue back down towards the downside. If it gets above, super strong, gets above your previous day high, then we could be looking for this continued push back up towards your 236. But would have to break back above your previous day high, also your Tuesday's highs as well, if we're going to be looking for the flip of this, and then we'd be looking for continuation. If it comes up, just show some weak price action, rejects, we're just going to come back inside the middle of the range and then towards your previous day low and potentially the low of the range, which is down towards your 226. So at least right off the bat, you're going to be patient on this name and just wait for the first kind of 15 to 30 minutes to play out on Apple. As for Meta, this one, nice push towards that all-time highs. I talked about this one, kind of flat top break. You had room all the way towards that all-time highs level, and then your after hours, which was your earnings all-time highs as well. So yesterday, nice kind of opening push towards the upside. We showed some strength right off the bat. We got above your previous day highs, and then we end up using this as basically an immediate retest for this push back up towards your 710 and your 716. So going to the lower time frames, let's see if there's, lower time frames, kind of an immediate retest once we got above your previous day highs, as you can see right here. And then we just end up gravitating towards that 716, which was that all-time highs, as you can see right here. Now for Meta, it's still setting up solid. Right now it's going to set up something like a flat top break. So we'll see what sets up. in the near future on Meta, but what you like to see is consolidate a little bit more, finally break above, retest, and then we end up having that continuation on this ticker. At least for today, after already hitting all-time highs, you want to be a little bit more cautious on this one since we already kind of hit our main objective. So now we'll just be waiting for really the break above your all-time highs for this retest of that. As for Microsoft, this one really not doing too much compared to the overall market so far. It is still staying heavy underneath your earnings lows. So it is still weak, but you can see kind of you'd like to already see it kind of reject if you do want to see some more pushes towards the downside. So for Microsoft, it very well can now break back above your 414, use this as a retest, and then we continue back towards the upside on this name. So this is the key level that we have marked out, 414. If we break above now, we'll be looking for this kind of continue push back up towards your 420 and your 422. As for Google, this one so far staying heavy. So if we go into the 1 hour time frame, we just had bad earnings on this ticker. So we have bad earnings. We're just at all-time highs. As you can see right now, the key levels that we have marked out is our 189, and then we also have your 192 as well. So you can see so far it's staying heavy. We're breaking underneath, and now we're staying heavy underneath this key area. If you go back onto the 15-minute time frame, so far Google, right, very tight range yesterday after day one earnings dropped towards the downside. What you like to see now is really the reaction that we have off of your 192. So this is the key area, and then we also have a key area down towards 190. So we'll be looking right off the bat, potential kind of day two continuation earnings play. And this one, we could be looking for the rejection, right? Pop and fade off of your 192. We could be looking for the lower high for this push down towards now your 190 and below. So we could be looking for this on Google today. If it rejects off your 193, pop and fade, we could be looking for the lower high off this level, and we'd be looking for continuation down towards your previous day lows and potentially this earnings low, which is all the way down towards your 189. So that's what we could be looking for on Google. If it just shows some strength right off the bat, then it's most likely just going to gravitate back towards your previous day highs and potentially back towards this 197. But I would like to see it stay heavy. If it shows some strength, then it's going to move back up towards your previous day highs and potentially higher. For AMD, this one, higher time frames, couple key levels I have marked out in this case. The major key level is going to be this 1113 level. If you go onto the 1 hour chart, really this is kind of your best retest, is all the way back up towards your 113. You can see multiple touches right around this key area. We finally broke underneath it. Really the retest on AMD is the best area where you could be looking for a potential short is going to be off this 1113. So for AMD, 1113 is what I have marked out on the higher time frames, at least intraday wise. Now you can see so far on AMD, we kind of had that bounce off your pre-market lows. We reclaimed our key area intraday. Now what you like to see is potentially the retest off of your 110 for this pushback up towards your 113, right? This is a possible scenario on AMD, right? If it stays heavy, gets back underneath, right? Lower high, right? You could be looking for this pushback down towards your 106. But it's really today is going to be the key level on AMD is going to be this 110 on the higher time frames. As for Netflix, key level that we have marked out. So this one finally hit that all-time highs. And you can see we also had a strong daily candle closure as well. So for Netflix, you can see, right, a little bit of a wick on Tuesday. Yesterday, finally had that strong daily candle closure above this level. If we go back onto now the 1 hour time frame, what you like to see is really just this area. Since we had that strong candle closure, we want to see this area be now used as support for this continued push higher. So the key levels that we're going to have marked out is really just this 1,000 area on the higher time frame. So if you go into the 15-minute, key levels now we can draw out is going to be this all-time highs. Draw this out, which is your 1,006. Really, this is your area that you like to see on Netflix hold down, right? Your previous high on Tuesday or your previous all-time highs as well. Kind of a nice reaction here. On Netflix, you want to see this level be used as a retest right off the bat for a continuation higher. If it comes down, then it's going to tap into your 1,000, and then you could also be looking for a potential kind of bounce off your 1,000 as well. That's also a key level. Either way, right, you want to be maintaining this. If you're going to look to trade this, you want to be at least on the 15 1 hour chart, because this one's the one that's more clean, right? You'd see key levels, and then basically this is your whole key area that we're going to be looking for, right? Lower high off really your 1,000 or 1,006 for this continued push back towards upside on Netflix for this all-time highs, and just continuation after all-time highs as well. Alrighty. Yes, if you guys do have some charts here as well, we actually do have some red folder news here coming in 5 minutes. So we'll see what shapes up on the overall market, and then we'll kind of develop our game plan coming into today. We'll see what just happens within the next 5 minutes. If you guys also have, any tickers that you want me to go over real quick, I can go over them now. Good morning, what's up? Please make a video for options. Yeah, Will. Good evening. What's up, Mark? Entry model is very interesting. Thanks. Got a lot of people here now. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Roblox. Yeah, I guess Roblox had earnings. We'll take that out. Yeah, Roblox. As you can see, Roblox ended up trying to get back above this IPO. So Roblox had actually a really super solid breakout. Really, after it broke out of this kind of a lot of consolidation that we had for about a year or so on Roblox, we finally got back above really this key level, which was your 46. And then we end up having that kind of push towards the upside. But earnings kind of destroyed this one. Really, really solid push. This is a great example of anything can happen. Right, news driven markets, right? You can see Roblox down 20% after having such a big, nice push towards the upside. And now you can see we're down 21%. We were down a lot more coming to market open. You can see tapped all the way back down towards the area that it broke out from. So pretty crazy move on this ticker. It dropped, yeah, crazy move. Dropped all the way down towards 50. So for Roblox, this one's very, very volatile. I'd be cautious on this one. Did come back down all the way to 50, which is really that break and retest level all the way back from earlier of this year and last year as well. So for this ticker, key levels they have marked out, you can see we're going to have a huge gap coming to market open. Really big gap towards the downside. Key levels in this case, you would just go off really just intraday price action, because all these levels right here, you just took out all the liquidity towards the downside. So for Roblox, the key levels, now you could just mark out these old lows. In this case, mark out this, right? Drag this over and have this, right? 60, kind of the key line in the sand for this ticker, at least on the higher time frames. Kind of zoom in a little bit here. Let's go into the 5-minute. Really, Roblox, what you like to see is kind of the reaction around the 60, right? So far, big drop. Now we're kind of in the middle of this drop. What would you like to see is either the reclaim, push back towards the upside, or if it stays heavy, you'd like to see this continue push back towards the downside on Roblox. Either way, there's going to be no opening play on this one coming to market open, because it's not that clear, right? It's not that clear. You have a pretty big drop. This is kind of your first initial bounce. If it comes back, breaks back above really 60, it's just going to be inside this range, right? We're going to be inside this earnings range that it had. TM. Another one, higher time frames. This one, nice push towards the upside. We've been talking about this one. Nice kind of holds every single day. Key levels that we have marked out, just old previous highs, right? Previous resistance turning into support. This key level, as you can see right here, right? Just old highs. They're all old highs. You can see how well price respects these levels, right? Coming to market open, right? Are we going to be looking along all the way up here? No, we're just going to wait for the retest of your previous day highs. You can see a nice hold of your previous day highs, and then we end up having this nice continuation higher, right? Similar thing, keep marking out previous day highs. And then now for TM, really your key levels on this ticker is all the way back up towards this like all-time highs level. So this is your all-time highs level on this ticker. You can expect most likely a pullback after taking out 66, because you've already had a pretty big push towards the upside. But in this case, key levels that we can have drawn out now is going to be this level right here. You draw this, drag this over. This is going to be your 68. So coming into today, right, be very cautious on these names, because it's very, very volatile. It could very much break underneath this key level and have a pretty big push towards the downside. But if it can hold 68, right, you like to see this area be used as kind of that next level for that higher low, for this pushback up towards your pre-market highs and above. But you have to be very cautious on these ones after being up a lot, right? It can be very, very volatile. So 68 is going to be your key area. ARM. So ARM had earnings yesterday, same as another semiconductor as well. This one didn't really move too much coming into yesterday. Now it's just forming, setting up like a really, really longer time frame kind of wedge pattern. As you can see right here, if you mark this out, it's just setting something up like this, right? Big wedge pattern on ARM on the higher time frames, on the weekly time frame as well. So what you like to see on ARM, Really, at least if you're on the 15-minute time frame, really not too much. Key levels that are just going to have marked as your 63. So you can see earnings not that clear. It's only down 4%. There's a very good chance that we could just have this day one earnings reversal, just right back up towards your 170. So key level is going to be your 164. Let's see, Palantir. Yeah, so we also just had red folder news as well. So I'll take a look at Palantir and then I'll take a look back at the overall markets. But Palantir, right, you had this big gap up, finally hit 100 on Palantir, big gap up. Now, as you can see, right, huge gap on the overall market. If you go back onto really the 15-minute time frame now, yesterday, the key level that I mentioned was just going to be your 104 and your just this level from the pre-market, which was your 100 key psychological level along with really your 99. You can see we end up tapping this 100 right off the bat, kind of another reaction around this 99, and we're just consolidating. So now what you like to see really on Palantir is the hold of your previous day lows, right? The hold of your previous day lows, and you like to see this kind of continue push really back up towards now your 104. So your previous day highs, your 104, and then potentially this all-time high. So for Palantir, right, so far we're in sort of this 15-minute range the past few days after this big earnings gap up. You like to see, right, the buyers start stepping in either beforehand, right? You can see one of two things. Comes all the way back down towards your 99. You like to see this get bought up for a continued push higher, or if it right off the bat, right off this higher low, just continues higher, then you may be looking for the high of low, the higher low off of your opening candle print for this push back up towards your previous high of day. Okay. So yeah, coming into today, we have some, if I'm not mistaken, we have some, I'm pretty sure it's unemployment at 8:30. Let me just check real quick. Let's see if it came in line with expectations. So yeah, right now we just had unemployment claims. Seems like it's not really affecting the market too much. So at least on the SPY and Qs coming into today, we can just drag our levels over. Let's kind of talk about this real quick. So yeah, SPY and Qs coming into today, key levels are just going to be our 525 on the QQQ. And then towards the upside, really now on the Qs, the next key level I have is all the way back up towards really last week's high, which is your 531. So really coming into today, key level, I really want to see the reaction that we have around this 525 area if we want to continue back towards the upside on the overall market. For the SPY, the key level that I have marked out is going to be this level, which is your 605. We'll see the reaction coming to market open around the 605. And then really your best buying opportunity, as I mentioned, is going to be all the way down towards this 602, right? 602, or we'll be waiting for the break above your 606 for this continued push back towards the upside on the SPY. So really basically the exact same game plan coming into market open. Nothing really changed with that red folder news coming into today. As for Tesla, you can see we're right back in towards our key area now, which is our 375. So we'll see if we end up rejecting off this area, right? Pop and fade off this area. We could be looking for this push down towards your pre-market lows now and potentially down towards your 376. So we'll still keep an eye on Tesla. This is going to be one of my main watches coming to market open. The reaction off of your previous day low right off the bat. As for NVIDIA, similar thesis still, right? If we can retest that for 125, that would be super solid. This one's still staying strong, so it does look like it's most likely going to head higher first, then actually dropping. So we'll see what shapes up coming into market open on this one. And then, yeah, the rest of the tickers basically all the exact same thesis. I'll go over some more names here, and then I'll most likely will call it. Let's see. Costco, yeah, Costco's been having a very nice, it's just continuing to show some strength towards upside. Super, super solid textbook break and retest right off of our key levels that we mentioned on Costco, at least on the weekly time frame. You can see price breaks towards upside. Every single down close candle or key level, right? Break above, retest, continuation, comes back down, retest, continuation. And you can see, look at how big these weekly candles are. Absolutely crazy. We also hit 1,000 key psych level as well, and now we're continuing higher. So for Costco, key psych or key fib levels I have drawn out is all the way towards your 1,060. So for this ticker, basically you can see all these old highs are being used. Break above, right? You can see whenever these are in clear trends, this is the best key areas, right? Your previous day high. So broke above previous day highs, continuation. Yesterday, key level, previous day highs. You can drag this over As you can see right here, broke above your previous day highs, consolidated, broke above, and then continue towards the upside. Now this one's just going to move higher. Key levels, 1050, and then also your 1060 as well. But now you can see fairly bullish. Key levels mark out previous day highs, which is now going to be your 140, and you can drag this over on Costco. This one, right, clear trend. This one's actually, it's not even pulling back. This one's just kind of going vertical here. So key levels, 2050, and then 1060. Let's see. Oracle. I'm not sure if this had earnings recently. I'm pretty sure it doesn't. But Oracle, key level that we're gonna have is this gap. So Oracle, we have your 173. You see multiple touches on this ticker. What we like to see is this pushback inside this gap fill. So you can see, right, we're building up these higher lows currently on Oracle. You like to see the break above your 73, retest, and then a push back up towards this gap fill, all the way back up towards your 182. You can see this gap fill a little bit better on the daily chart. So if you get above this key area of resistance, we can see this potential move back up towards this gap fill, all the way back up towards your 182. Yes, ARM, V pullback. What would you recommend for a complete newbie in trading? Where to go? Do you have any educational videos and materials for that level? At least for like beginner, like I have a lot of kind of beginner friendly videos on like strategies, like how to draw key levels. I'm not sure if you're talking about like brokers or anything along those lines, but really it's just YouTube. If you want to find out anything, there's a bunch of great YouTube channels, bunch of great educational content. It's just, you can find that all online. I saw your live videos, GM, Tesla. I saw your live videos, EMA and volume. Can you explain how you apply it? Yeah, majority of the times I mainly focus on like just pure price action and other things as well, like volume and EMAs. If I have them on my other charts, but I just don't use them as often in combination, I usually just focus on, right, key levels and just the price action around those key levels. Let's see. Good morning. I know. What is your practice routine when you're still not? It's the same thing, right? If your practice routine should be the exact same thing every single day, because you want to try and repeat, like just repetition. That's the main thing. SMCI. Yeah, SMCI. I haven't talked about this name in a minute. Clearly, it hasn't done too much. Kind of just around this general area. Kind of just been consolidating with the overall market. But for SMCI, now we're reclaiming your 30. This one's always kind of a tough long position, kind of similar to AMD, a little bit of a tougher long. But for SMCI, key level that you like to see mark out is going to be 30. Once we got above 30, now we have this mini gap fill. You kind of want to see something like this, kind of push back towards upside on SMCI, back towards this gap fill, potentially back up towards 35. ARM, I think I went over it. Yeah, I went over ARM. Costco, good morning. What's up, Ramesh? IBKR. Let's see. Can you draw key levels on the Qs? You didn't draw them out. Just said it's internal liquidity things. Yeah, the levels, they're just all old highs and old lows. So for the QQQ coming to today, it's just the same level that we had from yesterday. So just this old high from the previous day. This is your high from Tuesday. You just drag this over, which is your previous day high. You can see price ended up coming to market open, got above another key level, and then once it got above your previous day high, which is your Tuesday's high, end up using this as a retest for continuation towards upside. So coming into today, really we're about to open up right around this exact same spot, which is your previous day highs. So the key levels that I have drawn out today, right, you could mark out your previous day highs, but in this case, we're kind of just flirting around this key area. So I like this level a lot better, which is, right, multiple touches, your 525. That's going to be your key area if you're going to be looking for some sort of any long position on the overall market, your 525. And then towards the upside, in this case, you can mark out, if you like, pretty big level, but you can kind of mark this out. All right, drag this over, right, towards the upside, touch here, which is your lows, kind of broke above this. Didn't really have a reaction on this day, but you can see kind of a reaction in the pre-market. These are just your old lows all the way back from January. So you can mark that out. You can see a little bit of a reaction on your pre-market high. So coming into today, these are going to be your key levels. You're going to be looking for the bounce off this or the break back above your pre-market high for this push back up towards the upside and above. Okay. Yeah, I'll go over a few more tickers here, and then I'll kind of go over my game plan, and then I'll get ready for market open. Reddit, I'll go over this one real quick. Higher time frames, yeah, this one still very, very much bullish. on the higher time frames ever since. I'm pretty sure, oh, we didn't have earnings. This one just had a nice daily time frame breakout, just continue towards the upside. So for Reddit, really the key levels that we have marked out is your 180. And then we have another key level, which is your 188 as well. You can drag this over, nice kind of hold of this. Now we're just continuing higher, right? Every single dip is so far getting bought up towards the upside. You just want to mark out your previous day's highs. And then this one, super clear trend. Every dip has gone bought up. This one's just going to continue higher. Now you can use fib levels if you want to look for any sort of pullbacks, or if you're going to be looking for any sort of kind of buying opportunities. You can just grab your fib tool, drag it over. Let's just do this real quick. Fib, drag it over. We're at 50% retracement. Your next key levels on Reddit are going to be 222, which we just hit, and now you're 231. So those are kind of your major fib extensions towards upside on the 1 hour time frame. So really the next key area is going to be that 230, 231, that final fib extension. Microsoft is a good buy. Now, all these ones are good. Whenever you have these huge dips in the markets, if you're long-term bullish, right, these are always good dip ads, right? Especially, right, I want to consider AMD. This one, still similar thing. If you're really, really bullish on AMD, right, this one hasn't really been acting up with the overall market ever since for almost a year now. It's kind of been in a downtrend. But if you are long-term bullish, these ones are the dips to be looking to buy, right? Something like Microsoft, or even AMD. AMD had good earnings, but it ended up dropping. Microsoft, this one, right? You have some more consolidation as well, but these ones you want to be looking for major dips to just buy long term. All right. Check out his channel, Stoke with Detail. Thanks. Yes. Okay. Netflix, the accelerator course, Google thoughts on Webull. Yeah, Webull's good for beginners. Trading View, yeah, interactive. Yes, that's correct. No way. Do you ever post feature? I don't trade features that often. If I do trade features, usually that would mean there's just nothing else going on the overall market. It's just not that volatile. And I'll look to kind of just scalp features. I'll just trade the ES and NQ. I'll mainly trade the NQ, not the ES. Let's see. Yeah, most of the traders on YouTube now probably do post a burger today. They just say yes. How far do you go back when drawing key levels? Just whatever I have, all the information. Really, if you're on the 15-minute time frame, you can just look at the past few sessions. How do you make sure? That's a video for another day. Do we already do on Q? Yes. All right. Let me go over my game plan really quickly, just one more time, and then I will call it a day. So for the SPY, really key levels that we have marked out, really the 605. You can see previous kind of key area. Really right off the bat, what I most likely will expect is potential kind of reaction off this level and just come back down and fill its gap. So coming into today, I'm not going to have a bias coming to market open, but we'll just see the reaction that we have around this previous day high level, which is the SPY, right? This is your previous day high. If you go back onto the key area, we could just draw this over, right? This is where your gap level is, 604. We'll see the reaction that we have off your previous day high on the SPY, right? The key level that we have is going to be this 525. 525 on the SPY. I already laid out kind of the both bear and bull theses, and kind of the thesis for both sides on the SPY and Qs, right? Top watch coming into market open is going to be Tesla, the reaction that we have off of your 375, right? This is your previous low. As you can see here, multiple touches. We'll see if we end up using this area as a pop and fade rejection for this continued push down towards your pre-market low and potentially a little bit lower as well. So that'll be my top watch coming into market open is your kind of rejection off of your 375 on Tesla. As for NVIDIA, if this one can pull back towards your previous day highs, that would be awesome. If not, then we'll be looking for something else on NVIDIA. But so far, I don't really want to look to long right in towards your 128, especially after it being up, right? Nice solid day on this day, right? Nice day yesterday, and then another gap up today, right? I don't really want to be longing right in towards your 128. I'd rather look for a pullback too long up in towards this key area. So key area, your previous day highs, and then Amazon. We have earnings this day, so we won't touch this one. Apple, kind of inside a range, so unless this one has a lot of relative strength, I'd rather play Tesla or NVIDIA. As for Meta, this one already hit your all-time high, so it's still holding key areas, but we already hit your all-time highs yesterday and your earnings high as well. So if it does move higher, it's going to be on the 5-minute. It's going to be a little bit slower today. And then really for the other tickers, Microsoft still looks good. If it can either reject, get underneath, stay heavy for this push towards the downside, or if it gets back above, then it's just going to come back inside the range. And then Google, we'll also keep an eye out on Google, right? Just had earnings. We're also are trying to get underneath this 192. Right, if we get underneath this 192, we'll see this push back down towards your 190 on the higher time frames. And yeah, so those are the main ones. My main ones coming today are going to be Tesla off this previous day lows and this 1375. Nvidia, if it potentially pull back down towards your previous day high. And then I really like Google as well, if it can stay heavy underneath this 192. Yeah, besides that, yeah, that's kind of my main watches coming into market open. I already kind of laid out the thesis for the SPY and Qs. Really, at least coming into today, we already had that kind of red folder news event at 8:30. So there's no news today. So we'll see what kind of shapes up on the overall market. We do have Amazon earnings, as I mentioned, after close. So that's kind of the next major news event. And we'll talk about that tomorrow morning once that kind of shapes up on the overall market. So yeah, that's going to be it for me today. As always, right, it's a scalper's market, right? Take what you can get. Don't have overly biased to either one side. Be open to playing both sides in this market. And yeah, that's gonna be it for me today. I'm gonna get ready for market open here. If you guys did enjoy that, I appreciate it if you guys drop me a like, and I will see you guys tomorrow morning. All right, take care, everyone.